In the heart of the Ural Mountains, in the dead of a Russian winter, 9 experienced hikers fled their tent in sheer terror. They tore through the canvas from the inside and ran, half-dressed, into sub-zero oblivion. When they were found, the scene was a horrifying puzzle. Unexplained injuries, traces of radiation, and a final photograph of a strange, glowing sphere in the night sky. For over 60 years, the Dyatlov Pass incident has been the ultimate frozen cold case. But what if a key piece of evidence has been hiding in plain sight all along? I'm Abnul J. Farabi, and this is the Unexplained Archive. As an engineer, I look for the point of failure, the single bolt that sheared the line of code that broke the system. And in this story, that point is the tent. Why would you cut your way out instead of using the entrance? Why would you leave behind your coats, your boots, your survival gear, unless the immediate threat inside that tent was more terrifying than certain death by exposure outside? The official inquest blamed a compelling natural force, which is a bureaucratic way of saying they had no idea. For decades, theories have tried to fill that void. Yeti, Avalanche, infrasound-induced panic, secret military tests. The Avalanche theory, in particular, gained modern traction. It seems logical, right? A slab of snow hits the tent. The hikers cut their way out in a confused rush and later succumb to the elements. Case closed. But the evidence has always pushed back. The slope wasn't steep enough. The tent was still standing, carefully excavated from under a light snowfall. The injuries didn't match a snowslide. Some of the hikers had injuries that a leading forensic expert recently compared to the force of a car crash. And then there were the 2 hikers found with horrific internal chest trauma, but no corresponding external wounds. Like they'd been hit by a tremendous, invisible pressure wave. This is where the new evidence comes in, not from a spy satellite or a secret file, but from the relentless force of nature itself. Researchers from Switzerland and the United States have been modeling a rare and particularly sinister kind of avalanche, a slab avalanche that can occur on mild slopes, exactly like the one at Dyatlov Pass. But the key isn't the snow that falls, it's the snow that flows. Their models show that after the initial slab, a dense cascade of snow blocks and powder can rush down the slope. A person caught in this turbulent flow wouldn't just be buried. They'd be violently tossed and wrenched, suffering exactly the kind of complex, severe trauma seen on the victims. The force could be immense enough to cause major internal damage without leaving a mark on the skin. The tent could have been sagged and damaged, but not fully flattened, explaining its condition. And most crucially, it provides that compelling natural force, a sudden, terrifying, and deafening roar in the dead of night that would send anyone clawing through the nearest wall to escape. So does this solve it? As an engineer, I appreciate the elegance of a model that finally fits the brutal facts of the injuries. It accounts for the chaos, the immediate panic, and the strange, localized nature of the trauma. But the storyteller in me hesitates. What about the radiation on some of the clothes? The reports of glowing orbs in the sky that night? Sometimes, in a perfect storm of tragedy, coincidence layers upon coincidence. The radiation could have come from their lantern mantles. The lights in the sky could have been plasma spheres, a rare atmospheric phenomenon, or even the distant flares of the missile tests we know were happening in the region. The true horror of Dyatlov Pass may not be a monster or a secret weapon, but a perfect, tragic convergence. A group of friends, in the wrong place at the exact wrong moment, caught between a freak avalanche and a desperate, frozen sprint for a survival that was always just out of reach. Their final mystery may be a grim lesson in how nature, with a mere shift in the snow, can engineer a catastrophe that leaves us searching for answers for generations. For the Unexplained Archive, I'm Abnul J. Farabi. This has been a production of Light Knot Studios. Visit us at https://www.lightknotstudios.com.